falsely accused by my wife's father for something horrible. How do we move forward? My in-laws have a lake house. It has a ton of space. It's a frequent vacation spot, and every holiday is done there. They've owned it since before I met my wife. 4 years ago, we were all staying there when my wife's cousin got a very foul email. I won't go into what it said, but suffice to say it made her cry. My father-in-law works in IT. He examined the headers and determined that the email originated from an Android phone and that it was off of the lake house Wi-Fi. My in-laws are Apple users. I am an Android user. My father-in-law accused me in front of everyone of sending the message. I denied it, let him search my phone, and told him I would never do that. He found nothing but made a big show of telling me I had attacked his family and that I was banned from his home. He subsequently made a big post on Facebook about how he will always protect his family and how I had violated his home. My wife now goes there with our kids alone. I have not been there and I have not spoken with my in-laws in 4 years. We do holidays on a separate day together, and then on the holiday I go with my family and she takes the kids to the lake house. Yes, it sucks. When asked why I wasn't there, my father-in-law told my kids that I do bad things. Over 4th of July week, her cousin got another email from the same address. Once again Android and once again on the lake house Wi-Fi. This time I was 200 miles away. Well, when they checked, the other cousin, first cousin's sister, and her kids had Androids. The kids were bored and sending prank emails, not realizing they could be traced. My wife called me up, relayed the story, and asked me if I could come down for the rest of the week with the family. I told her that I would love to, and to let me know what day everyone would be there for father-in-law to make a public apology to me. She got very quiet and said, "They just want to move forward." I replied, "I do too, and I will be happy to do so after your father publicly admits to the family that he was wrong, apologizes to me, apologizes to our children, and posts a public apology on Facebook." My wife started crying and said he's not going to do that. I told her that I'm not going to come back to the lake house, that her father made it clear he doesn't consider me family, and until he makes it right, I am done with her entire family. He essentially wants to pretend like it never happened and make it look like he forgave me and welcomed me back. I am not on board with this. When they arrived back, I informed her that in the words of her father, I had to protect my family and our children would not be going back to the lake house either. My wife is devastated, begging me to forgive and move on. She says that her parents already feel awful, that they never said I wasn't family, and now I want to publicly shame and embarrass them. She says that it's not fair that I'm asking her to choose between me and her parents. I countered that her parents set up that choice 4 years ago and she had already chosen. The next lake house trip is Labor Day weekend. I've already told her that I will be bringing the kids to my brother's that weekend for a barbecue and pool party. My wife has agreed to come with us, but she keeps bringing up the lake house and begging me to reconsider. It keeps ending up with my blood pressure spiking and her crying, so I've asked her to stop bringing it up. My wife and I do love each other very much. This is maybe like 5% of our relationship, but it's something that has been weighing on me, and I know it's driving a wedge between us. I have always felt that my wife chooses her parents over me. She says she's sorry I feel that way, but it's not true. I told her that in 4 years she didn't stand up for me because she didn't believe I didn't do it. She vehemently denies this, saying she's been trying to get her parents to let me come back since then. I don't want to unnecessarily shame her father, but making right the damage he did is non-negotiable. At the same time, my wife is crying every day. She's not eating. She's losing weight. And I know this is taking a tremendous toll on her. I don't want to be the reason she has this much stress and anxiety. How do I address this with my wife without causing a confrontation? How can I ensure that my kids understand the situation without feeling caught in the middle? I am not sure if I want to be married to my wonderful husband anymore. What do I do? I hate writing this because it makes it feel so much more real, but here goes. I have been married to my husband for 12 years, together for 14. We have 2 wonderful children, 8 and 5 years old, and have built a great life together. I have no complaints about the man I'm married to. He is loyal, honest, a hard worker. He does everything for us and adores both me and our children. I have never had to question his faithfulness. He's never been the slightest bit abusive. He keeps up with his end of the housework, plus more if I'm honest. He is not perfect, but he is an amazing husband, father, and friend. However, I have not been attracted to him for years and find myself wondering if I'm in love. I adore the person he is. He is my absolute best friend. But I often find myself fantasizing about being alone. I don't think about dating or being with other men. I'd be fine being single. I have thought about divorce so many times in the past 4 years or so, but always pushed those thoughts aside for our family. They have become more frequent lately, and I'm not sure how to handle it. Yes, we go on dates frequently and try to find activities that we enjoy together. I have been pushing myself to be intimate with him more in the hopes that I will overcome all these feelings, but I just find myself not turned on in the slightest. It has nothing to do with his physical appearance. He is very handsome and takes care of himself. I just am not into it. I have started therapy individually to help process these feelings as well as deal with past personal trauma. I have also set up an appointment for marriage counseling for us, although I'm not sure if that will do any good since we don't really have any problems to talk through. Our relationship is great and we rarely argue. We agree on a lot and take care of our home and children as a solid team. This would be so much easier if he wasn't so great. I despise myself for saying I am considering divorcing such a wonderful man. It absolutely breaks my heart to think that I'd be hurting him and hurting our children. I'm not saying that I will divorce, but I have certainly considered it multiple times. I have no real reason to leave, other than unhappiness on my part. I know he'd go out of his way to try to make me happy, however, I don't think there's anything that can be done on his end. I am prepared for the awful comments I'll receive here. Just curious if anyone has been in a similar situation and how you've dealt with it. I'm so torn between spending the rest of my life sacrificing my own happiness for that of my husband, best friend, and children, or risking it all to find myself. 24 hours later update. Wow, I really was not expecting this post to blow up like it did. I appreciate all the feedback, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I started individualized therapy last night and want to focus on that a little before we begin marriage counseling. I understand that I personally have a lot I need to work through. I also intend to speak to my PCP about getting my hormones checked, just to make sure that's not an underlying source. I currently do not take any medications. I have no intention of leaving or making a decision about divorce anytime soon. I plan to do a lot of work on myself and really make an effort in our relationship before even considering leaving. Yes, we do go on dates. Yes, we have tried spicing things up in the bedroom. No, I do not have my eye on anyone else, nor do I even care about dating in the future. I do not have a lot of time to myself. I have never taken a trip on my own, not even a girl's trip. I would like to give that a try, although I feel like that will hurt my husband's feelings as well. He is very much into doing things together and doesn't always understand how much I need alone time. I will look into finding hobbies for myself, although I truly don't know where to start. LOL. I am not giving up on my marriage. Ideally, I would love to make this work, and I am willing to put in the effort to at least try. The last thing I want to do is throw away all this time together, and it physically pains me to think I might hurt him. I was simply venting to some internet strangers, looking for advice and seeing if there was anyone out there who has been in my shoes. This is a journey, and I'm not sure where it will end up. But I do want to put forth my best effort in improving myself and hopefully saving my marriage as well. I suspect infidelity because I found condoms. Husband and I have not used condoms in years. What do I do next? Last week I had probably one of the most horrendous days of my life. Let me try to explain a bit more clearly what happened and what's happening. I won't give exact details to preserve anonymity. I was away from my husband and 3 kids for almost 6 months. This was because I had to go with my sister to help our mom. She had a severe stroke and was not expected to make it. My sister was in pieces. She still spoke with Mom even though I didn't. Husband encouraged me to stay. He helped pay for ticket. Originally, I was only supposed to stay there to pretty much help bury her and then come back after a few weeks. However, she surprised us all by staying alive and recovering somewhat. Anyway, there were still complications with her recovery physically, mentally, financially, and I could not leave. I did not want to go in the first place, I did not want to stay, and I sure as heck didn't want to deal with her. I had not spoken or seen my mother in about 17 years because of her addiction issues. I never thought I'd ever see her again, and I had massive emotional trauma to deal with. But you know what? I'm glad I went. I faced my demons and showed compassion I did not know I was capable of. Whilst I shall never be buddy-buddy with Mum, it has done good for my psychological mental health. And I realize now, my mental health has been shit. For years. Even before the kids were born. My husband tried to help, but I was stuck fast wallowing in a depressed funk. I blamed my mom for my poor mental health and let myself go, physically and mentally. For years, I'd been sinking further and further down, and yes, it affected my relationships, particularly with my husband. My husband is a hard-working, insightful, generous man. He has always supported me, never laid a finger on me, and I feel safe around him. He is, and always has been, an excellent father. He has his faults, don't we all? But I love him, and I know he loves me. When I came back from my journey of rediscovery, my husband was expecting the old me. The depressed, miserable, moany, not sexy, pessimistic me. I admit it to myself, and it's a hard pill to swallow. I think back at how I treated myself and my husband, the awful negative thoughts I had, and I am ashamed. Needless to say, in all these years, our physical sex life was in the pits. Our marriage was crap. I admit it, and I've cried all the tears I've had crammed up these past 17 years since I locked my hurt and pain away with my mother's abandonment and abuse. I lost weight on my trip, almost 15 kgs. I'm off my antidepressants and eating healthy without even trying. In the past few months, I'm actually interested in the day and what it brings. I'm present for my children, and I feel like I'm in control. However, when I came back, I had to not exactly grovel, but a big apology explanation was owed, and it was hard to get the words out, but I said them and I meant them. I was unpacking drawers and I found condoms. I have an IUD and we haven't used rubbers in years and years. The expiry date on these condoms was 2027, so not a chance they were old. I'm a bit shamed to say I did discreetly search his email messages and found the receipt for them in Amazon. He did buy them about 1 month ago. Only one is missing, and I noticed the toys had been moved, so I am certain that he used it on himself. I did search for other suspicious items, etc., but there were none. I did check messages, and there is nothing suspicious. Nothing at all. My husband hasn't been behaving suspicious, and I think when I confronted him with the condoms, I found he just blurted out a BS excuse, and because of the distance between us, he wouldn't admit using them on himself. Yet. I also had a look at our finances, and I am ashamed to see how hard my husband has been working to keep a roof over our heads. Nothing suspicious going on, and we are lucky to have him so committed. I have sadly heard in other comments about how some people just dump the partner with kids when it gets too tough. The fear I felt in that moment, that yes, he was cheating, was overwhelmingly real. I can see how my refusal to get help, not be physical and always a moany cow, could push him away. I don't see him starting another relationship, but I could see him maybe using a service. Maybe? I don't know. So will I throw away 15 plus good years mostly away for this? No. I am going to do the best I can because these past years have been pretty awful, and he has been working so damn hard, and I have just been consumed with self-loathing. I know I can't take the blame for absolutely everything that's gone wrong. However, I'm starting with what I can. I have for the first time in a long time felt actually excited about what I can do with the future. But I will definitely 100% be getting a job to make myself self-sufficient. Cheating divorce isn't the only way a partner can leave you, and this whole event has shown me a warning shot that I need to get a grip and find a job. I have also started some online courses to brush up on skills I haven't used in years. I've updated my CV again, using AI software. What a trip. And I in fact already have an interview set up 2 weeks from now. And I will also discreetly consult a lawyer, SOX, Citizens Advice Bureau, to find out the what if we get divorced, because knowledge definitely is power. And I must explain that I didn't cry my eyes out and terrify the children like some comments suggested. There is no trauma. They're fine and I've gotten a hold of myself. I cried once or twice coming out the bathroom and then went for a long walk to cry and try get hold of myself. So, one condom missing from a box seems to be the catalyst for my life. Made me look at what is actually of value. Whatever happens, I know I'll be fine. I realize now how difficult things have been for my husband and how I wasn't helping at all. The shame still makes me cry, and I am hoping that's a good thing actually, because 1 year ago I wouldn't have cared, just would have done some more self-destructive behavior probably. Thank you all for your comments. Really, I really mean it. A lot of them helped me shake some sense into me and allow for self-reflection. It is early days yet, but I am hopeful. My husband was smiling at me across the room the other day after I had done something for him, and it's the first time in ages I saw that. He said something flirty and I felt butterflies, not disgust and contempt like a year or two ago. Anyway, I have rambled a lot and I'm not going to edit this. Maybe I'll update again. Maybe I won't. But yes, again, thanks so much for your help. Reddit has the pitchforks ready. Let's put a few things in point form. Again, I'm not sodding around with grammar and sentence structure, etc. I just don't have the time energy. Yes, I did speak to my partner. We did have a heart-to-heart. Many difficult things were discussed. The condom thing was discussed. He said no cheating, and I believe him. I know this man. He got embarrassed when a massage therapist went too high up his thigh in front of me. He blushes in public if I say too flirty stuff. Apologies, it wasn't crystal clear, geez. No, I did not abandon my family for 6 months. I called daily and kept in touch as much as I could. I also did office work for the business whilst I was away, withdrew some of my savings to spend on kids' clothes, childcare, etc. I arranged my family back in UK to help my husband with looking after kids. My neighbors were helpful. The school mums also helped out. I was emailing the school to be kept informed on important issues. Heck, I even arranged a few doctor's appointments for my kids because husband isn't familiar with the GP surgery to names, etc. I did not want to leave the kids' husband, but I had many obligations of which I cannot get into because I want to be anonymous. Main reason my sister went absolute pieces and could not function or plan for stuff. I put my big girl pants on, showed compassion. If she died and I did not get closure, it would have been a big mess. My husband fully encouraged and supported me to go. He knows me. Originally, I was supposed to be 2-3 weeks, that was it, but that's just life for you, hey? I have used to work full-time before this kids and paid my way 50-50 whilst managing the household. Postpartum depression after having 3 kids and 4 memoirs, all of them wanted pregnancies, had left me with low sex drive, not zero. Breastfeeding hormones and sleep will mess up what little desire you have for sex. We did have sex, but how many of you out there can have perfect sex lives with 3 kids under 5 years old running around day and night? Be realistic, when kids were babies, I did absolutely everything for them. Husband has very demanding job and he didn't have boobs to exclusively breastfeed now, did he? We were fine with this arrangement, end of story. I had several part-time jobs over the years. I haven't been one big mooch parasite. Husband isn't a saint, neither am I. Good Lord, Reddit, if it ain't perfect, gotta throw it in the trash heap. I'm being told that this is a creative writing exercise, fake, blah blah. If I spent 3 HRs editing it and choosing the correct words, our grammar people would still accuse me of BS. About 1x year ago, things were so stressful, I was thinking of going on a solo holiday because I was feeling so overwhelmed. I have not had a break from the kids since they were born. I have not been more than a few kilometers away from them. The universe sometimes gives you what you need, not what you want. I needed to face my mother. I needed a break from kids, life, depression. I do go to therapy and will continue to do so. Husband has expressed interest in going too, as we need to talk about sex more. We are going on dates more. We are talking more. We are being nice more. I am trying. This break has also shown the husband that looking after house and 3 kids is not easy either. If I do find evidence of infidelity, real undeniable concrete proof, then yes, I will be talking to lawyers. Right now, throwing away my marriage, ripping up kids' lives just as I got back, etc., is just not sensible. Things are not going to be fixed overnight. It took years to get in this state. It's going to take a bit of effort and time to repair.